Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, and Lauren. Welcome to the Cimorelli Podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
And we're Cimorelli.
Welcome back to
The Cimorelli Podcast. I was being your echo.
Ooh, the drama.
It wasn't an echo, it was a bad double.
Well, that's what I was going to say, but I feel like people wouldn't know that. That's what I really meant. I was your double.
Lisa, I need
You know, I'll let it slide. What?
I need you to be a Regina George in a 2000s movie in this moment. I need it. I need to see you scared the living daylights out of me.
Wait, didn't you play that in that movie you were in?
Yes, Regina,
You
no,
played
that
a
iconic.
Felt like I did a terrible job.
But you played that.
Go
you were in
watch
it?
Hope Springs
No,
Eternal.
she didn't wanted to go to prom, so she didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's the reason Lisa's in
Go
it.
watch Hope Springs Eternal on Netflix and tell me if I
It's
did a
off
good
it
job
now.
being the mean. What?
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Where is it?
I don't know where.
Okay, buy it on iTunes and let us know if we did a good or bad job being the mean girls.
I was dumb. That's the only way to describe my
Were you
character.
smiling during it?
No,
With
I
your
did
part?
a good job. I tried my best.
I don't remember it.
I did a good job, I think.
Definitely watched it, but I don't remember. Okay.
Anyway, welcome
really fun.
back to the Cimorelli Podcast. Today, I'm living my childhood dreams of being like Y2K because when I was little, there was no YouTube tutorials, nothing to teach us how to do the styles. So now I feel like, oh my gosh, I can go back in time and be what I wish I could have been when
my
this was
God.
cool.
Yes,
So it's like
yes.
an avengance
A vengeance.
of my childhood. Anyway, today's episode, what?
And it's a vengeance?
I don't know. You're taking a
and
vengeance?
avenging.
You're
And
avenging?
avenging.
Is that a
You're
vengeance?
Vengo with it,
maybe
you
I
know
made
what
it
I
up.
mean.
Yeah, I'm avenging my childhood.
I love
Whatever.
it.
So today's episode, honestly, is something that I'm gonna more listen to than participate in. What? I need to work on this. What? I'm gonna
okay.
talk. I'm gonna talk.
Okay, like
but
the dating, like the online dating one, how Amy got a bunch of tips from Lisa.
There you go.
And then I changed my
I'll get tips
profile.
from you. Okay. We're gonna talk about making friends as an adult.
Make
Okay,
friends.
listen. I was stunted as a child. They all made friends, and then I would just be like, "Oh, I'll be friends with your friend's sister or whatever." I never really learned how to reach out. So some of my friends now are like my hairstylist, my masseuse. Like I hired them and then befriended them.
So
That's fine,
true.
though.
Yeah, but it's like I don't hire people that often. So I don't have a big rotating door of friends. So we're gonna talk about where to meet friends, where to find them, how to maintain close friendships as an adult, and why it's so hard. Why is it?
Why is it?
Has
We're gonna
so
get
many
into it.
things to offer to
Hard.
the people.
Yeah, I'm
right,
excited
so
to
do
hear
I.
from
Honestly,
you on
I
this
would like
topic.
to learn from Amy because I feel like I've lost my touch a little.
Guys,
You
I'm
know
ready
what?
to
Hey,
teach.
being a mom is like it's falling off of a cruise ship.
That's a whole different thing.
feel like
We're
it's
not
helpful for
talking
friends.
about being a mom and having no time because
No, I feel like it helps with friends.
Oh,
You
never
instantly
mind.
can relate to moms.
Okay, because
Yes,
I'm
okay.
saying,
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
We'll get into
I
it.
like that. I have an excuse
Pros
to
and
talk to
cons.
people
Pros
so
and cons,
easily.
people.
Okay.
How old is your
Right.
kid? Like, I can talk to any.
And
okay.
you could find
I just
will
feel
say, though-
that's a whole different
Okay,
level.
we'll get into that
than
on where
just
to meet people
being
because
an
I have
adult.
ideas for moms.
Well, I will. Yeah. Anyway, I'll get
I
back
have
to that.
ideas
Yeah,
I was
for
going to
moms.
say
mom
the pandemic really
part is
flattened
easy.
everyone, and now we all kind of are on a
That's
similar
true.
playing field of like, ooh, let's reemerge.
Not me.
All right.
Okay.
So
Amy.
let's get into it.
Can't see you up on your high horse.
Yes. Bro, I have to have something.
That's our main topic we'll be getting to in a few. We're starting with the highs
And the lows.
and lows of our weeks.
Okay. Oh, I'll start.
Okay.
Okay. My low is a preemptive low. I am emotionally pre-gaming this low.
What does preemptive
what?
mean? Does that
like
mean like
she's
it's about to happen?
anticipating.
Didn't
Yes.
even happen yet.
I am about to be
Wow, Lauren.
home
Can feel your
alone
pity.
all weekend.
Ooh.
All my
So that's your
roommates
low.
flew south for the winter.
Oh.
And I am literally very nervous. I've never been alone overnight in my life.
Amy, you got this.
What? I hate
There's
it.
always
You
people
crazy
that
guy.
are there. Like,
I lived alone for an entire summer.
oh my gosh.
Loved it. and I have tips.
Lisa, I'm not
Okay.
surprised at all because you
I
are so like
hate
Lisa's such an
Because, like,
introvert, such a house cat.
Yeah, and I'm
so
like,
good.
if I can't do it, if I'm literally too scared, because I watch shows about people getting murdered and listen to podcasts about people getting murdered,
better cut
and that
those
really
out.
doesn't
Oh
help.
Don't do that.
Even though you live in a very
I know,
safe area.
but I'm like, if it's bad, then I'll just figure
Call
something
Alex.
else out.
Okay,
Yeah.
Amy, let me tell you.
Sleepover.
yeah, you can always sleep over somewhere else.
Yeah,
You have
last
someone
time they
sleep
went out
over.
of town, it was one night, and I had Mel come over and sleep over. But now it's like 3. So I'm like, Lauren, when are you coming back? She hasn't even left yet.
Thanks.
So that's my low.
Amy, I will say that happened to me early on in marriage. Max went to Michael's bachelor party and I was home alone. I almost called someone to come over and sleep over because I was scared, but I didn't. And I watched a movie and ordered Mexican food to the door and it was like so fun. I also had mono, so I couldn't really leave anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I encourage you empower.
Yeah.
I
But
feel like
sleepovers are fun too.
I have the same terror, Home Alone or not. It doesn't really change
Yeah.
it. I'm like, what? Are you gonna save me from a killer?
No, I'm like, they're gonna get to Lauren first.
Yeah. So I'm just like,
I will
I'm
be
dead meat.
alerted
either
upstairs,
way.
and I can call
Jump
for
off
her.
the roof.
just an
What do you
alarm
do?
system.
No, I can call
Oh, okay.
beforehand.
Yeah, what are you?
You get
gonna
it?
do? Okay.
And then my high is that I don't know. I didn't get that far.
Preemptively, you're gonna have a great weekend.
Sure,
That's my high is for
that's
you.
my high. My hope. That's my hopeful high.
your fears.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay, next.
Okay, I'll go. Okay, my low is that I was so emotional all week because of my hormones.
Hormones.
And it was just so weird. Like just crying over everything. And I'm just like, I'm not that sad. And I tried this trick that I saw Sabrina Carpenter post on TikTok where she's like, I'm doing my makeup and I was crying. So I just looked straight down at the floor so that the tears would just fall onto the ground instead of down my
it work?
face. And it didn't mess up my face makeup. So I did that yesterday. I was like standing in my bathroom crying, looking at the floor. And it did work. It actually did work.
Were you like this?
Literally standing like this. So they would just go straight
Lauren,
down.
I think
onto
you
the
need a
floor.
hug and a nice warm bath.
I didn't want to mess up my makeup. And
I'm
yes, I
telling you.
agree with that.
The thought
though.
of you staring at the floor because you're crying, I'm like, oh, Laura, that's
It
sad.
wasn't even that sad. It wasn't because
Lauren, one time I was so hormonal, I could not stop crying, and I literally was brushing my teeth, and I just started crying. I was like, "What is going on?"
so annoying. Like, I'm gonna start crying right now. Nothing even happened.
Yeah, I relate.
So that's my low.
been there.
That is
my
quite a low.
high is that I'm gonna go see my boyfriend this weekend. So I'm excited.
That's why Amy has to be home.
Yes. You know, one man's trash is another man's potpourri.
Amy, I recommend you get into doing puzzles. I don't know if you would like
That
that.
is not.
when I did a puzzle
very busy.
all
I'm just
alone,
scared.
So good.
I'm
It was
very
so
busy
fun.
I don't
woman.
think that's her vibe.
I know, but just do like a little
I'll probably do
200-piece
some
puzzle.
painting.
It's so small, so
We'll
quick.
see.
She's more of a
Put on
big
a
picture
show.
guy.
I do enjoy a puzzle, I think.
Okay, let's do I'm an gonna easy go, one. guys.
Okay, I can see that.
So my low is basically the same as Lauren's, except pregnino. So
That's how I
different
feel.
hormones.
I'm like,
Well,
might be the
similar
same hormones, just for different
but different reason. Okay,
Yeah.
so that was like same reason. Was that even being a woman? Yeah, like it was a few days ago.
you just
I think I
keep
was just like
crying about
"Ah," whatever. But then I haven't felt like that in the last few days. So
That's
What
good.
does
it was
Barrett
kind
do
of-
when you cry? I'm curious.
he says sad, and then he hugs me, and I'm like,
So cute.
yeah, everyone gets sad and then cries, whatever, and I will make myself better. You don't have to make me.
I saw this
better.
thing that was like, if you cry in front of your kid, it's not bad. It's good for them to see emotions.
It's very good.
And you just reassure them, mommy's sad right now, but she can still take care of you and do everything. Like,
That's what I was trying to say. I'm like, I will make
that's so
myself feel better.
exciting.
You are not my caretaker. Just so
But
you
it's
know.
nice to
get away,
have
get away.
Because
empathy,
he
though.
automatically runs up and hugs me, so I'm like, oh my gosh. So
But it's
cute.
nice.
My
You're
caretaker.
building
has empathy.
his empathy, though, too.
And then he says, water. That's so cute. But anyway, it wasn't that much of a low, though, because it felt really good to get
let it out.
But it was kind of, I can't remember what it was. It was just like, I can't remember, man, but it wasn't something that dramatic.
It's just
so-
annoying. Like you're having conversation with someone, you start crying, and you're like,
talking to
"Sorry,
Nick.
it's not that dramatic, but I'm
And
just
I think
crying."
he was just sitting there like a champ, and I was just like, and this and this and this, and he's just like, it's really funny. I'm like, thank goodness he grew up with, has 4 sisters.
Hey, Chad has no sisters, but he's also great at handling my tears, my constant tears.
It's wild. So then
Screaming.
the high was that I got a really good stroller today from Facebook Marketplace.
Girl, what did you get?
I can't remember. What it's
Did you get
called.
one for
It's some,
like 2
long
kids
name.
or like?
Yeah, I got a double stroller. I got a double stroller. It's like a really expensive one that's like not expensive because I got it
Love
on
it.
Wait.
Facebook
Why do you need a
Marketplace.
stroller though if he can walk?
Lauren, you
kids
think
get
you can walk
tired.
miles?
Lauren,
That's what I thought.
Have
All
you
he does
seen?
is run, walk,
Have
walk,
you
walk all
seen
day.
Barrett when I say let's go to the car? He follows me to the car most of the way, and then suddenly goes and runs towards the street because he doesn't want to get in the car. So imagine me with a newborn. I'm like, get back here, please. Imagine me now. He like we go on a walk and he goes run, and he starts running. I'm like, please get back.
But if there's a baby, you know what?
okay.
It might be like bait because he loves
I don't
kids.
know, but I have a double stroller.
Would he help
okay.
you?
I get
take
it.
Your
So
kids
I got
out
a
to the
good
car though.
Yeah, he did.
He helped her all the way to the car and put them in the car.
That is
Well,
nice.
he
I
didn't
don't know
carry
why
one of my children,
he
just so
won't
you know.
help.
There was
No,
a babysitter.
he like walked
he
with
walked
her.
with us.
We let a 1-year-old carry.
Yeah.
He walked.
anyway, that's
all
nice
right.
Too. It's crazy.
I don't think there's anything else to say about
I
this.
would like
High.
to
It's
go.
really nice. You know, I gave a test. I was like, wow, this is really nice. And I'm very pleased that I got
here.
that for way less money. Probably like a quarter of the price.
Wow.
It might have been less than a quarter. I'm not sure how.
Guys, it feels like we're creating a tornado of sound this episode. Or like
I
a
know.
swarm of bees.
I feel bad for the people who comment.
We have
It's
to
really hard
remember
to tell
Everyone else is listening.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
We have split
We
ears.
talk over each other.
But they don't. Okay.
We have issues.
Sorry if this is boring, but my low, of course, was baby sleep. Lily, I think, has
Classic.
like middle back teeth coming in or something. Something's been bothering her. The last few nights, except last night, then
love
she woke up at like 4 o'clock and like wouldn't go back to sleep, or would go back to sleep, but I was really tired. I just felt like exhausted. Today is the first day that I actually slept like I think 7.5 hours or something. It was
Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
yeah, so that was great. My high is right now this morning.
How you cut your hair.
Yeah, well, okay, I cut my hair a little bit.
Wait, you cut your own hair?
Yeah.
Did you not see her story?
I didn't
story
cut
time?
the whole thing. I just did like front layers and like some little pieces.
You know, I was thinking about doing that.
I just told you
No,
yesterday.
I know. I didn't say
Wait,
that when
cutting
you
off
told me
your
that.
hair
This
or
is
doing
me
short hair or
replying to you
layers?
later that I was thinking about. No, not short.
Layers. Yeah.
Because I don't have any.
Yeah,
It's just-
I'm gonna get a real haircut.
I think they're so cute.
Nice.
Anyway, I cut my hair and I've realized I've just been on this journey of like finding my style again
After
as a
being-
mom.
Finding my
Because
style as a new
a
mom.
quick summary is I
So
realized
true.
this is why there's so much pressure to lose weight or whatever, because your whole life changes. So then you're like, well, if I could get back to the way that I looked before, then my life would be the same again. It's just like a psychological thing.
Deep.
So I had to realize that is not a thing. So don't worry about it. So like, okay, I don't need to be how I was before, but how can I just be something that I like? How
No,
can I look?
you are you.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes. But it's like I don't need to go backwards, but I just want
Yes.
to move forward in a way
Love
that I
it.
enjoy. So I want to wear things that I like and like have a look that I like, you know, try new things. So I changed up my hair and
I
then
love
I bleached it and then I changed it again. I gave it some layers and I'm trying a little Y2K vibe and I'm just like, oh, it feels good. So I feel like
Love
I'm
it.
finally like things are really like clicking in like, okay. Cause I've been literally working at this since like a week after I gave birth. It's a long process.
Yeah.
It's been literally a year. And
It's
I'm
a
like,
shocking
okay.
process.
Yes, I've been like thinking of little things. Maybe I should try these shoes. Maybe I should wear that. And it's finally like really clicking into place. So just like,
Yeah, this makes me want to do like a style guide for postpartum after I
yeah.
give
That would be
birth and
awesome.
understand like how that works for me.
I feel
wanna-
like I
wanna
get it
do
now.
that.
Postpartum
like
style
retrospectively.
is a huge search on Pinterest.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
That
there's
Yeah.
not
So
much
that
I
I
would be
feel like
surprised.
I feel like I could help with it now and what not
You
to
should.
do.
Well, at least
Because I
send
kept
me-
trying to wear these
Okay,
outfits
we should
that
do
I
like
liked
an
before.
episode on this.
And it was like, oh my gosh, wow, that doesn't look anything
Yeah,
like
it's
Yeah.
different body.
Anyway, yeah.
anyway,
That's my
it.
high.
Next, is it you the last one?
Yeah.
Oh wow, we
Um,
still have another one.
Well, my low, I don't really can't think of any other than just lack of sleep.
You just seem sad.
Oh, I was just thinking about the sleepless nights. I mean, last night,
You look like you've seen one.
last night, both my twins slept the entire night for the first time.
That's a high.
I can't remember when that happened last. It's
That's
been
great.
probably months. So usually I wake up at least once, if not 2
believe
or
they
3
did.
times.
Oh.
Like, I have a newborn.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
that
two
is
babies
all of
tag
them.
teaming it.
Yeah.
But yeah, they both slept all night till 7 a.m. I woke up, I looked at my phon, I was like,
And you slept too?
I slept. Yeah. I got 8
Wow,
hours.
we all slept last night.
uninterrupted.
I did too.
I'm a new
I
woman.
love it.
This is beautiful.
I feel
I did.
amazing
But
today.
I would say I just don't want to have baby sleep be my only thing. So I'm like,
Cat.
if it is.
no, that was definitely by my
And
low.
you are in the
recently.
trenches with twins.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your
but my
high?
high is that I made a delicious recipe last night.
Oh, love it.
Actually, I made it during the day. It was in the crock pot because if you're a mom, you gotta get a crock pot. I don't know what you do if you don't have one. That is
out.
how I survive.
I
Not
regret
you.
to inform you there's many times on TikTok where people are like, my mom is using the crock pot again.
No, listen.
I like it.
I
the
felt
same
like
way.
that
Because,
growing up.
no offense, but I didn't really like what my mom made in the crock pot. Here's what I made in the
love
crock
you,
pot.
This has
Okay.
a different kind of taste, I think,
What
than
did I liked it.
lots of us.
I
You
like
and mom
it.
have
Less
similar
taste.
taste.
I
She
liked
doesn't
what she
like as
made.
much
Less taste buds.
spice.
More
Our mom
taste
does.
buds.
She's a super
Our mom
taster.
does
like
not
Lisa.
like a lot of spices. She vetoed them.
So if you like a lot, then you're kind of like,
yes, I like a lot of spice, a lot of salt.
But we appreciate
so
the meals,
What I
Mom. We
made
do.
We do. We love it.
was one of my favorite types of food, which is Indian food. And I made
In the
butter.
crock
What? Yes,
I
made
didn't know
butter
that.
chicken. It's so freaking
Okay,
good.
this is fun
It's
and
like
fresh.
it's a chicken that has so you put a lot of spices, garam masala, curry powder, all these different spices on it, and you put Greek yogurt half and half, so it's kind of creamy. Tomatoes, so it's like an orange color sauce, and then I also did cauliflower and onions and I can't remember what else, but that was the gist of it.
That's great.
And I did
Sounds real
for-
good.
And the most important, second most important, rice. The most important thing, which was naan bread in the oven.
Yes.
You get it from the grocery store. You brush it with melted butter. You sprinkle on fresh garlic.
Oh, I love it.
Put it in the
Amazing.
oven for a couple minutes, and it is amazing. So yeah,
That is not the crock pot of TikTok.
that
I
is
have
not
to
the
say.
crock pot of TikTok. That's what I'm telling you.
That's so funny
And then we
that
watched,
that's a thing.
and then we watched Stranger Things, which Lisa and I are bonding over that because it's the ending is just insane.
You
I
can
just-
stop telling
Almost.
everything.
30 minutes left.
Oh,
Oh my god.
We watch like 45 minutes a night. We just like that's as much as we have time for, and we just like slowly
Yeah.
I never watch anything.
trickle away.
Okay, because I go to bed
yeah.
at 8. Okay, so continuing on, 5 perspectives.
Wait. Can I do the question, actually? I have one that I want to ask.
Sure.
Oh,
All
all
right.
right.
All right. 5 perspectives from Lauren.
Lauren
What's the
style.
Okay, this is
question?
my question. So I realized that your guys' children don't call us aunt anything. They just say Lauren, Amy, whatever. Well, really just Barrett.
my
I guess
twins
he can
don't
talk.
speak.
Oh, yeah.
But they probably would because that's what we say. It's like, oh, that's Lauren, that's Amy. How do you guys feel about being called aunt or uncle or not, or if that's important or not? What do you think about that?
honestly, it feels weird to me, and I wouldn't mind if no one said Aunt Lisa. I wouldn't mind if they did, but I wouldn't mind if they didn't. I don't care.
Oh, I feel
But
that.
who do you know that calls their uncle Bob?
I don't know.
That seems
I don't
so
care.
weird.
There's a first time for everything.
Yeah, it feels so
'Cause
long to be
Barrett
like,
calls me
look,
Lauren.
it's Aunt Lauren.
That's so
I feel like,
weird.
but I feel like
because like you were
I
saying,
said Aunt Lisa, though, because we have an Aunt Lisa, so it's
Yeah.
easy to say that.
you're saying it's like, oh, it's a respect thing. The
I
other
didn't
day,
say
or
that.
Alex was saying or something, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess.
never
And I'm
say
like, I
Uncle
don't
Alex.
care if
Is it?
you guys, if you want to be like respected as an aunt, then that's fine. But I don't need to be respected as someone's aunt. Like, that's fine.
Also, I
don't
feel like
need
that's
that
something
title.
that they
But
will-
if they want to say it, that's
I
totally
don't think
fine.
it's. I don't think of it as a respect thing at all. I just think it seems weird. Like it feels wrong to me not to call my aunt this, uncle this. Like even the ones we only
But-
saw like a few times in our childhood. It's just like
Yeah, but
you
that's
don't call
them.
him Tom. You call him Uncle Tom. It's just weird.
But what about
what about
us?
you as an aunt?
I definitely would like to be called Aunt
Okay.
Auntie
Auntie
Kath?
Kath.
yeah, I don't really have an opinion.
And I definitely will have my
whatever
children
they
call
wanna
you guys
do.
aunt when they can talk. 'Cause
I
I just
just-
it feels wrong to me.
I just
Aunt
realized
Lisa, Uncle Chad. That's
Like,
what it is.
call him.
I do say like Uncle Matt.
It's hard
What
to
if our kids called
remember.
Mom Lynn instead of Gigi.
It's Lynn.
We're going to Lynn's. I mean, Gigi. I always get confused.
No,
because
but she's
she
Mimi.
started with Gigi and then she changed.
She's Mimi.
Really? She originally said she was going to be Gigi.
Yeah.
And then she changed it to Mimi, so I was confused.
that.
But yeah, I'm like, I cannot think about what if we called her grandma Phyllis?
But that's different.
Why is it different?
Because you guys are my siblings. I don't think of you as Aunt.
But
Yeah, that's why it's hard to remember.
That's why.
Okay.
But Kat, I think that's naturally just going to happen as they get older.
Yeah,
Okay,
who
listen to what I
knows?
realized. I realized that I
can't do
have
it.
told Barrett, I just realized it now. I have told him Michael, Catherine, Aunt Lisa, Amy,
I'm the only one that
Alex,
doesn't-
Lauren. Well, if you see Danny, just say Danny. Chris, Nick, Joe. I've said Christian, Uncle Nick, and Uncle Joey.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Well, because Uncle Nick has the same name as his dad. So.
But he doesn't call
He
it.
knows
does.
that dad is his Nick.
Yeah, I'm like, this is Uncle Nick.
That is his name.
It's like when I
Wait,
talk
his
to,
dad's
even
name
though the
is
twins
Nick.
have
So
no
that's
idea
weird.
what I'm saying, I say to them, we're going to see your Mimi. I say, we're going to see your Oma and Opa, 'cause that's what we call
but
on Max's
that's
side.
their
Maybe I'll
grandparents.
start
It just
saying
seems
aunts.
so
Okay, what do you guys think?
Let
You guys
me
get to the
answer,
main
yeah.
topic?
Oh, yeah. Sorry,
I
went
feel
off.
weird that they don't call me aunt. Like
Auntie
like,
Lauren. I want to say Auntie.
theoretically,
I think
I
it's funny.
feel weird, but in reality, I
doesn't
feel
feel
weird.
weird.
I feel weird saying Aunt Lauren. It's like,
I want Bear to say auntie because I think
I
that's
feel like
more funny. So maybe I'll start
I
doing
don't know.
auntie.
I feel weird because I think it is
Auntie
a
Amy.
transition because it's like I feel too young to be an aunt. I'm like, what is that?
How old do you think
Joey's like
aunts are?
17.
I know.
I know.
But you know what I mean? It's like when I think of aunt, I think of my aunts that are obviously a lot older than me.
So,
Well,
but
yeah.
that's not the question.
But
The
so
question
I know
is,
I feel
Uncle
weird
Michael.
because Barrett's just like, Amy! And
do you
I'm
want to
like,
be
hey,
aunt
bro,
or do you want to be Amy?
I can be whatever.
Okay.
I'm gonna
Because
start
once again,
doing auntie.
I call my parents by their first name.
I just haven't
Okay, so
intentionally done
Are we
anything.
the only aunties? Would you be auntie? Or would you be
I like
Aunt Amy?
Auntie Amy is
I'm
better.
gonna tell him
because it's
auntie.
more of a meme.
Not
I want it
auntie.
to be more of
You're
a
not
meme.
auntie.
It
You're
depends
aunt.
on the
Auntie
kid,
Chris.
Auntie
right?
Chris? Aunt Christina?
That kind of sounds
Aunt
like
Christina, I
Antichrist.
think, but
Aunt
Yeah,
Lisa.
not
Aunt Lisa just rolls off the tongue.
It
because
does.
you
Because we
said
have
it your
an
whole
Aunt Lisa.
life.
Yeah, so that's why too. That's why Uncle
saying.
Joe and Uncle Nick I've saved for Nick with his I guess our nephews and niece. So,
I guess that makes
'cause you
sense.
have a bunch.
so the ones
I have
the
an
three
Uncle
that I've
Nick.
heard already, I always say.
Yeah.
But I guess I've heard Uncle Mike. Whenever our cousins would say that to our dad, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, Uncle Mike.
I
Maybe your
forgot
uncle.
about that.
Uncle Mike's house. And it's like, it'd sound kind of weird, but I was like, whatever. That's what they call them.
Aunt Lynn.
Okay, let's move
I've
on.
never heard them say
That was our 5
I don't
perspectives.
think I had.
Let's go to the main
Oh, this is a-
top.
Event. Woo!
Oh, I forgot to say, if you missed the last episode, it was the TMI Girl Talk Q&A. Oh my gosh, I didn't even say anything about Patreon. Guys, if you want to see the full episodes of every episode, you need to join our Patreon. It's linked in the description. You can try it out for a month and see what you think. Just sign up for 1 month, see if you love it. And you'll get all the full episodes of this, not even season, of now and past seasons. And we do other content. We do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we do live streams. We do giveaways. It's a really fun platform. And if you're like a big fan, you will love it. You will love it. And everyone there says it's like a great positive community and they love it. So
Oh, yeah, we
just
stand.
saying, this podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Sometimes life just shocks you. And this might be kind of surprising, but when I got married, actually, I was pretty shocked. I feel like no one told me that may happen. And within a few months, I was just like, I really need to figure out what is going on in my head. And that's when I found an amazing therapist who really helped me work through things and taught me so many amazing coping skills and tools and such. What about you guys? Any times in your life?
I feel like actually there's been a lot of heavy things that have happened, but the times that I go the most are when I have like interpersonal conflicts or like life things where I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like I go for like guidance a lot of help me work through this problem and what do I say to this person? Like I have such a mental block. I can't talk to them. What do I say?
And when you're looking for a therapist, it can be really intimidating because you're like, I mean, we've all gone through this. Like, how do I look for them? Where do I find them? What do I look for?
I hate looking
How do
for
I
them.
know?
I'm
Like,
so scared.
It's overwhelming.
What if I don't like the one I find? How do I find another?
Yeah.
BetterHelp is very, very helpful for that because it's online therapy where they assess your needs with a questionnaire and then they match you with a therapist, but you don't have to stay with that therapist. It's free to switch to another one. Oftentimes I've had to switch multiple times in my life where I found someone and they just weren't quite right. And you keep trying and you find the right person. It's really important to actually keep trying and find the right person. But I think they have a great setup at BetterHelp because first of all, they can match you with someone in less than 48 hours, which is crazy. But because of the internet, it makes it way more accessible. So if you're someone who's like looking right now and you're like, I'm looking for a therapist, or you're like, I feel like I really could use some help right now in my life, I highly suggest you check them out. What about some other experiences of therapy?
I feel like my first serious relationship, my therapist really got me through it because I was just like, I have no idea how to do this. How do I deal with this conversation? Oh wait, I'm feeling like this. Is that right? Is that wrong? What should I be thinking? What should I be doing? I'm so confused. And really, my therapist helped me navigate just how to be in a relationship because I just really didn't know how.
BetterHelp is more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. It is really a great way to invest in yourself. We were talking about what we spend all our money on one time, I remember, or I was thinking about this. And I realized I like to invest in myself the most out of anything else. That's my favorite thing to do. So I'm going to highly suggest, is there anything in your life you're going through, which is just going to happen to every single person?
Yeah, because that's just how life is.
Right now, it may be the time for you watching. Most likely, I bet it is the time. So if you want to try out, you've always wanted to try out therapy, but maybe you tried before and it wasn't right. You didn't have the best experience. Try again, or maybe it's your first time.
Or maybe you want something a little more affordable too.
We have a good offer for you. You can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/Cimorelli. It's betterhelp.com/Cimorelli. You guys have heard us talk about therapy for literally years. And we've all talked about how beneficial it is, how much it's helped us, how much we recommend everyone try it if you feel like you're in a rough place in life, or sometimes it's not even the darkest of dark places, but it's I really need some guidance. This is going to be linked in the description, but you can also just do betterhelp.com/Cimorelli. You get 10% off your first month of online therapy, and this could really be the life-changing thing that you do. I know therapy for me has been absolutely life-changing. So if that's you and you're hearing this is your sign. Go try it out. See what you think. Remember, you don't have to stay with the first person. Find that right fit for you. And this could be exactly what you need to change your life. Anyway, so I was saying, if you missed the last episode, it was TMI Girl Talk Q&A. And the next one is we're doing a Who Knows Me Best competition, basically.
Okay.
Competition. Okay,
Sorry, I just realized I meant to fix my lips. I never did, so I'm fixing them really quick.
okay.
Go ahead. Continue. Carry
I
on.
have to figure out how to use lip liner.
So, shall we talk about friends?
Yes.
Yay!
Yay!
All right, so making friends as an adult. We have 4 different prompts here, 4 different
Topic
categories.
This may be the area of life I am most stunted in.
Really?
It may very well be.
I think most people are, honestly. I think it's really hard.
It's very
hard.
okay. So that's why we are doing this, because I have gotten messages. We've all. There, so many of you guys, either your comments when we've talked this a few times, but not as a whole thing before. And I've just seen so many comments and messages about how do I make friends as an adult? I'm not in school. I'm not in these activities where it was just so easy.
Maybe
as
you even
a kid.
have a job where you don't really
And it's
interact
people
with people
feel
too.
awkward at work because they're there's a work professional ethic
or
thing
you just
where
don't
you
like those people that much.
You're not choosing them.
Or you just feel weird being
Your
friends
mom's
with
not
your work. I don't
making
know.
play dates for you.
Yeah,
So I guess
Lynn isn't calling people up for me.
I guess we already started the first one, which is why is it so hard to make friends as an adult, which you just already mentioned.
I feel like there's
reasons.
multiple reasons.
And I think we are so much more insecure about meeting new people as adults too.
wait.
I think it comes easy your whole life because you're in school, you're around other people. As a kid, it's all you're around teenagers all the time. You're around kids your age all the time, and then suddenly you don't have this built-in network of people your age anymore. So it's wait, I have to actually go out and do this thing. you didn't really have to do that before. But
Yeah, it
I
was
will
never
say that
intentional.
I have an advantage because we moved twice when I was so young and I was homeschooled that I never really thought making friends was easy. So being an adult is not even different to me because I'm like, all right, I
feel
gotta
that.
get to it like I did when I was 11.
I
Like,
also think in a weird way, as it's very backwards from what people say, but I think being homeschooled gives you an advantage to making friends because
you had to try.
have to actually try. Whereas
Yeah.
like I feel like if you're just in school your whole life, you're in activities, you're just like, 10 kids I'm sitting next to. Which one do I want to be friends with? Like, yes, you do have to talk to
We
them.
just have these,
But it's
people
like
sitting next
you have
us.
to like go up to people who probably already have friends from their school that they're
Yeah.
totally fine with, and you're like, okay, I gotta like be as cool or funny as your friends. You
They're
gotta
like,
break
you don't go
into
to
the
my
circle.
school.
Yeah,
like your
so
homeschool.
I feel like we had to be very extra like
Yeah.
driven about making friends to like actually make friends.
Oh, I know another reason.
and have built-in friends.
Another reason is when you're an adult, you've experienced friendships, which you haven't when you're like really young. You know, it's new,
burned.
and you've been burned by people.
You get scared.
Now you have like some
Trust
trauma or
issues.
some
Trust
trust
issues.
issues, and you're like, you have all these fears that you didn't have when you were really little. You've been rejected, you've been hurt, so you have that in your 20s, 30s, whatever. And you didn't have that before. So that's
Yeah.
another reason why it's hard.
I just realized, sorry to cut you off, I did meet a lot of people in my early 20s and I was insanely outgoing.
Good for you.
So I think it was
Good for
really
you.
just like pregnancy and motherhood. And pregnancy, everyone's reaching out to you. How's it going?
Yeah.
And then you give birth and it's like, and you know what? People invited me places at the end of my pregnancy and right after I gave birth, and I was like, sorry, no. Like, indefinitely no. And then I think they were like, oh, she's out of commission.
Yeah.
And then I'm just dead to them. So
you
now.
need to do your re-entry
I'm
Were
in
they
a
not
society.
friends?
Yes. They're not, they don't have kids. So
that's
they're
the
like,
whole
oh,
thing.
she's busy. She
That's the
can't.
thing.
So I have to make it clear now, hey, invite me places. I want to go.
Yes, you
So
have
know what,
to
though?
re-enter society.
I am now. I already started this. I made plans a month in advance for a fun local event. I'm not gonna say
Good
what
for
it is.
you, Lisa.
Stalkers at night. So it's like,
Happy.
hey, look,
Proud of you.
we
Oh,
can
with
hang
a
out at
person?
8 o'clock. I got a
With a
babysitter.
Good
no,
for you.
with an inflatable. No, yes, with a person.
No, you made it sound like you were going to the event to meet people.
No, I made
you're
plans
you're
with my
going
friend.
someone.
We're
Okay.
going.
You're
So
going
I'm
to an
starting it
event.
now. But this is
Yeah.
what I just realized is I have to have my Schmidt rebrand.
Yes, you got to rebrand. You're
I think the what
Yeah.
you just said is kind of maybe the last reason why it's so hard, even if you're not a mom, but when you get into adulthood and then you're working,
so busy.
you're so tired, you're so overwhelmed. It's like the last thing you want to do at the end of a long week is like go out and
plans.
try to
For me,
meet
I was like,
people. It's
I
like-
can't wait to get out. It was wild.
I
used to do that. I'd be like, I've been
but I'm
working
saying
all week. I'm
you-
so tired.
You
I
as
gotta
the
go
mom
out.
now.
It's the
Now
same
it's
thing.
different. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like I think a lot of people are just so exhausted. They're just like, oh, I don't want to put
And
in
your
the effort.
friends
Yeah.
and everyone you like went through college with and stuff. Well, I'm just conjecturing because I didn't change so much after college.
Okay, yes.
So
this
you're
is-
kind of like
that's
left, like
Okay, this is
who's-
what I was
and they
gonna say.
move a lot. Everyone's like
Yeah,
shifts around.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's
an
true.
unexpected reason is that I've realized this, and I heard someone talk about this on a podcast who's a lot older than me. She's like 40 something, and I was thinking that's so true. I think we have the false notion that you're supposed to have the same friends forever.
Yes.
Or once you make a
think I
friend,
thought that
they're supposed to be in your life forever if you are a
Yes.
certain level of
And
close.
someone just said like girls are kind of shamed for like breaking up friendships. Like,
Yeah.
why couldn't you?
Right, and
But it's like if you break up with a guy, that's normal.
well, I think you need to realize, like, if you can have a mindset, this will just save you so much sadness and pain in your life. If you have a mindset that friendships ebb and flow, different friends are at a point in your life where, like, you might have someone that you're super close to for 2-3 years. Suddenly, you don't even really recognize each other. You've both been through life experiences. You change situations. You don't even recognize that person anymore. They don't recognize you. Maybe it's someone that really loves to go out and like party, and you love doing that with them for a couple years, and then you're kind of like, I really just like
Moved
staying home
on.
and doing
You
puzzles
split
and doing board
paths.
games. Like,
Yeah.
you're always going to be changing, or your life situation. You have kids, like you move. Like, there's so many reasons why you're not going to have the same friends forever.
you may not relate to people the way you
And
used to.
and you might need to realize, I realized this recently, I've been trying to work on it. You might need a friend refresh. Like, I kind of started to
yes.
realize, like, some of the friends I had that I was like, not that they're horrible people, it's just like, we didn't really
It's
have
like
as
you
much
are
in
not on the
common.
top of the pyramid.
Wait,
anymore.
that is the next topic.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the next
So
topic.
let's switch to the next
Here's the
one.
next topic,
Rolling
which
right
is
into it.
I guess I would say it's like realize. Well, we're gonna like try to explain the difference between lasting friendships versus. Well, Lauren said randos. I think randos is one category, and also people who have changed a lot. When you like look at people in your life and you see what Kath's saying, or you just meet people and it's like a bunch of randos.
Well, also what I meant by that is there's two different types of friends. Like you have like your outskirts friends, like
Your
fun
fringe
kind of
friends,
friends,
as
like
I
you'll
call
hang
them.
out with for fun, but you're not really gonna
they're
like,
not, like, close.
tell them your deepest shame. And then you have like your close friends that you like can actually
You can tell them your
talk
And
about
she's
things.
saying she's looking at these close friends and realizing these are not the ones I want to tell my deepest shame to anymore.
Well, also too, if you have like I know in my past I've had a habit of being drawn to some
Toxic.
not good friendships where I was just
I get that.
being kind of like not treated well and I didn't realize it. And then I
outgrew
realized
it.
it as I became older. And now it's
Yeah.
like I'm still kind of sorting through that like, oh, these people are actually not like I don't really feel that good around them. Or like they talk about themselves the entire time and don't ask you a single question. Oh, that's really draining. Wow, I don't like that. So it's like I'm realizing things
What
as
I
I
would
get
say
older.
too, though, is some of those people where you realize, like, wait, I don't actually like that or that much about them, but you can still like not if they're like ruining your life, but like little things you're like, I don't think we can be that close.
We can't
But
really
you're
talk
like, you know,
about
we
that.
can like
We can still talk
go
every once in a
bowling
while.
or whatever people do. Like we could go out, we could go get
Yeah.
dinner, like,
Or like a
we can have
group-
fun,
group hangout.
a group
Yes.
thing, but it's not really the person that's going to be
deepest
like
shame.
close. Like,
yeah.
some people are just like you can go out and have fun with them, but it's
Yeah.
just not. You just have to understand the levels.
But
of
I think too,
friendship.
when you become a mom, especially, and I'm sure this is probably other life situations, when you have such limited time, your circle becomes smaller because you're like, I only have this much time to see people. I
Gotta be
only want to
someone
see
good.
people
Okay,
that I
Kath,
really,
Kath,
really
here's the thing,
enjoy.
though.
Think about this. You have friends that you would still like invite to your birthday party.
Yeah.
That's
And
what
I
would
think what
say.
I mean more is there's people that are like really like funny and fun where it's like you have a really fun time with them, but they're not necessarily like as emotionally deep
Yeah.
to whereas you don't really want to have those like deep talks with them, but you still really enjoy
Yeah.
hanging out with them. Like you can relate and like you can like
Yeah,
just
you still
have that
enjoy
fun
the
in
time.
life.
Company.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So I guess
and
what
that's
we're
a
saying,
that is a different kind of useful friendship.
Totally.
what we're
Yeah, it
saying
just
with
fills a
this-
different need.
I think is
lot of different
assess.
kinds.
I think assess like
Where are you?
assess where you're at right now. Look at who your friends are or who the people in your life are and be like, do I have these like lasting friendships who I would tell my deepest shame to? Or are they more randos or are they more people who I thought I was close with my whole life? I've seen this so many times, you guys, especially like when I'm doing life coaching sessions with people, where people realize like my friends, what you're saying, like my friends are not actually supportive or nice. I actually don't really think they should be in my life in a
Yeah.
close level now. So I think that's a good first step we're saying is assess your current friendships and see where you're at. See if you
Yeah.
can be yourself around your friends or are you like this old kind of fake version of yourself that you've realized you're
I've
not
grown out of
anymore?
that.
That's a
And
thing.
I feel like people don't realize in friendships, just as much as romantic relationships, you recreate cycles that you know
Yes.
in your
True.
family
It
of
took me
origin.
so long to
You
realize that.
recreate many cycles with the
So
people
true.
you choose to be friends with and the people you choose to date. So if you have been recreating cycles with the people that you've chosen to be friends with, you're going to like realize that after a certain amount of time, if you're what is the word? Analyzing your like patterns of relationships, you're gonna be like, oh, actually, my friend is treating me in this way, which this person is treating me with in this way, and I don't actually like that.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think it's interesting how friendship can be the biggest time suck where it's just like this negative person that is just like sucking out your energy and you're not really growing at all. You actually it's taking up a lot of time, it's stressing you out, you feel anxious. That's happened to me a lot in my past friendships. And I feel like I don't really have people in my life right now that I let them do that anymore. But then the opposite of that, the highest level of friendship in my opinion is people that you can grow with. You talk to them. Not that every conversation has to be, we're going to become billionaires. And that's not the only way that you should grow. There's so many ways to grow.
Financially.
But like, to me, I've had so many conversations with friends where like afterwards we'll like text each other and be like, wow, that was really like, they say life-giving. I love that was a life-giving conversation because it gave you life or refreshing to your soul. Or even like Lauren said, like sometimes people are just really funny and you just like laugh and have fun together. Like that just uplifts you. Or they encourage you when you're like, oh, I'm really insecure about this thing. It's like friendship can be like the greatest blessing, or it can be like a crutch, or not a crutch, a cross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and people. Sorry.
Wait, let me say something. Also, since we're talking about like lasting friendships and then these more like looser friendships, I don't know what people think, but don't expect to have like a lot of like super close friends that like you can tell your deepest shame to. Like, I think most people are lucky to have like one or two of those.
Yeah.
Like, don't think that like, oh, I should have like this solid group of these like really deep friendships. Like, that's just not really
Friend
realistic.
groups
like
are
a movie.
so hard.
TV show thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they show that in a movie,
gosh.
the fun friend group with
That's a
this
good
one
point.
and this person.
You know?
You know what, too? I've never been part of a friend group, but I feel like a lot of times they look so fun, but everyone that I know that's in a
It's
like
just
group, it's
drama.
like so much drama.
That's
It's
true.
tough.
It's hard to find because like friends are like
it
chemistry.
is really
and it's-
fun when I witness them, or sometimes I used to be a part of this huge group of people. They would just have all these parties. It was really fun. But then there was all these like weird little cliques and like
They're always on.
almost is like
They're
impossible.
it
always
was
on.
really fun, but it was nice to not be like in the thick of it. I was
Yeah.
like, I think
Yeah,
that's not my
I think-
style.
I think
And
it's
I feel like I'm a
nice-
friend collector where they're all from really random places, so I can like bring them together and have a great time, but we're still not going to be like, we're a crew. It's just like a random thing that assembles and then goes away, and
I feel like having a good friend group is really fun and nice, but it's not like essential. Like, oh, I should really have that.
sounds
Like,
so fun from every
like,
movie that I'm
yeah.
always like,
Yeah,
oh,
there's always
so cool.
a group.
and it's nice though, like if you can meet a couple of people and kind of like bring them together, like
Yeah.
for like little events and get-togethers.
Game
You want to
nights.
do whatever,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have
can
to
be
be,
really
like
cool. It's just
we're
hard.
a squad.
Like you can make a game night friend group. You can.
You
do
know
like,
what,
all these
Guys, we
different
are
ones.
a group, just so you know.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
Realize
because
we already have
every Real Housewives crew just illustrates that, where they're like, you didn't invite so and so. She's gonna be mad.
It is hard. It is
and then there's like the
If you
and we
invite
do
one, you
have
have to invite
drama
all of them.
that we have to address with each other all the time.
there's always yeah. I think it's a cool thing that gets a little bit put on a pedestal. I'm just realizing.
Okay, what about this other thing to realize before we go into our next one? We only have whatever. Before we go into our next one more thing I thought of is if you, this is like a hard truth. Maybe tell me if you've experienced this for yourself.
Okay.
If you look around, what? What do you think I'm gonna say?
I just get anxious.
If you
okay?
look at your
Relax.
friends,
Friendship.
no. If you look at your friends and you're like, these are all a bunch of like negative
I'm
or
gonna say low life.
toxic or low
are a bunch
lives,
of
whatever it is.
You know, we've seen it.
And you have to realize, oh, I'm kind of in a bad place and I'm attracting people and attracted to people who are also kind of in a bad place. And if I want to be friends with people in a better place, I have to grow and get myself in a better place.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
bit of a hard truth.
That's hard to. How do you do that though?
You realize, wait, I don't like
it.
You say, you look around, you're like, I don't like these traits in these other people. I have the same traits. Wow, maybe I should stop complaining all day, being negative about everything, just laying around and never doing anything to make my life better. Like, it's like,
Okay, I have a good example. It's a little different, but it's kind of what you're saying. And what I'm talking about is when we first moved to Nashville, then I made some friends in the first 2 years. I made some friends that were just not it. And I was thinking about it and I was just thinking like, man, I don't like the friends that I've made so far. And I was thinking about how when I'm around them, I always downplay my career and I would not say the words I would normally say, like the weird kind of stuff we say. I would act like almost like
I
a different
remember
person.
you talking about that. I was like, what?
Yeah, I would just try to edit what I'm saying and not say what I normally say and just try to be like a sterilized version of myself, basically. And we wouldn't talk about, like, I like to talk about like goals and dreams and personal growth and psychology, blah, blah. And I wouldn't really talk about it with them because I could tell like these friends like can really talk about that stuff, like make them uncomfortable. So it's not like these are a bunch of low lives, but when I looked
very
at them,
supportive.
I was like,
It's really hard as a girl because I feel like.
wait, I didn't finish. But
Oh,
then
okay, I
I
was gonna add to
realized
that.
I was in that same place. I'm like, oh, I'm in this place where I'm downplaying myself in front of all these people. I'm not like being brave enough to be myself. I'm not putting myself out there. And then I'm attracting people who are also not brave enough to put themselves out there, not brave enough to go for whatever it is. Cause we were in like a weird place when we first moved here. It was like a scary, like new place. And it was like a really like insecure place. Like we don't have a label, blah, blah, blah. So it was kind of a reflection of that I was feeling insecure about like how my life was going. So then I was attracted to people who were also in that same kind of place.
Also, I want to clarify with this that it doesn't mean like, oh, if someone's in a bad circumstance in their life, that's not what we're saying. Like, people can have great circumstances and be really negative and rude, and then people can be in really bad circumstances in life and be really like positive and uplifting. Like, it's not about that.
And a person can be in a rough spot with like their mental health and it's like, oh, they're going through something versus, I mean, some people just like live that way where they're like, I live down all the time.
Like that's my whole life.
Yeah. Well, and
that's like, that's sad, but it's like, I don't want to live in that with you.
But I've had, we need to get back to what Catherine was going to say, but I have had a friend. I remember when I was really depressed, when I was like a teenager, I was like really, probably like 15, really depressed. And I had this one friend who was also really depressed. And all we did was talk about how depressed we were. And after a while, I was like, all we do is talk about how depressed we are. This is not what I want. Because I would always be like, I'm getting out of this depression. I would always say that, and then it would never happen. But I would always like, be like, today I'm getting out of this depression, and then it wouldn't happen. But I realized I cannot be friends with her. All we do is sit there and wallow in the darkness of our lives, and she like pulls me deeper into a dark hole.
Yeah.
You're gonna say, especially as girls.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about how you were saying like you downplay, and I feel like I do that a lot too. Even with people that I don't even know are offended. Like I feel
automatically assume.
I think it's really common. Maybe, I don't know, maybe men too. I just don't really have a lot of guy friends. I don't know. But I feel like
and we're not men.
Yeah.
I think it's humanity.
Yeah. I'm just saying, speaking for girls, because I'm just very much a girl's girl. And that's like all my friends are girls. I had like one guy friend that didn't go so well. But anyway. I feel like girls are very competitive and very like scared, like, oh, you have that thing, and not all. This is not trying to generalize. I'm just saying, like, oh, you have that thing that I want, and now I'm not going to get it, or something. Like, it just feels like you don't want to talk about this in front of this friend because you're afraid that they're not going to be like secure with themselves to be like, oh, like I'm happy for you, even though I don't have that.
It's a certain type of girl that totally exists.
Yeah, I don't.
But I feel like it's I think it's most people in general. It's like, I don't know, I heard something on a podcast the other day and it was saying like, do you guys feel like that? Is that true? Do you think like,
Not
do you,
for me,
for yourself,
really.
did you ever feel like this
about most
person has
girls
this
you
thing
meet.
that you want, or like, oh, they just got this promotion, you're not doing well financially. They just got a boyfriend, you're single. They just bought a house, you haven't gotten one yet, whatever. Have you ever felt that where like someone does something and then you're like, makes you feel threatened?
I am the person that feels threatened,
Makes me
and I
feel
do
mad.
my best to not be threatened.
Okay,
I'm like, I need to get to that
Wait,
place, but I'm like, at least it's possible.
But is it your friend you're saying?
Or
Yes.
rando.
Or rando?
No, not my friend. I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying in general, in this rhetorical situation.
I'm saying it's like,
I don't feel
it's
it's with my
friends.
friends.
It's
But
like people
like,
that you're getting to know as a
my
friend, like a newer friend.
bought a
Randos
house
more.
before me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need
I
to
could
do
buy
that.
a house.
But it was like a cool thing. I was like,
Yeah, I
I
feel like I'm
because
just
of
happy
you. And
for
she was like,
people.
ah.
I think it's more randos, people who are like are more casual. That might be a little more like,
Well,
Yeah.
I realize when you're saying this, I'm like, I don't like ever talk about my career with my friends, but I don't really care to. Like, I don't. I don't.
maybe you don't
Yeah,
want to.
I don't really like. It kind of.
Some
like,
things
that's-
are like
let's
that,
not-
though.
I don't really connect on that level unless I'm. Okay, I have friends where like people I've collaborated with, we are pure work friends. We love to
Yeah.
work together. I love talking about work with them whenever we talk. Actually, I feel like those are all like guys too, though, where it's like, oh, we talk about songs we're working on, whatever. But then with my friends that aren't in my profession, it's like, oh yeah, you wouldn't really get what I'm saying. I don't really care anyway.
Yeah, that's what it
I like
is.
care about you do, but it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we kind of expect friends
I wanna
to
talk
be
about girly stuff with them.
everything, like
That's
to
it.
be able to encompass all of our lives and everything
Yeah.
that we are. But that's not realistic. You have different friends for different facets
things.
of
Very
yourself,
true.
and that is what is healthy. Because we expect the same thing out of a relationship too. But in order to have a healthy relationship, I'm just conjecturing here, ladies and gentlemen. You have to have a healthy community around you
Yeah.
too, because your relationship can't be everything, and your one friendships like your friendships with individual people can't be everything either.
Okay,
You know
that's
what?
good for
Wait,
the next
that too.
part.
I
then.
like to talk about my career with Chad, and I get it out there.
Yeah, exactly.
We, like,
Because
bounce
you
off
want
each
to talk
other.
about it with people that you feel like understand and you're connected with it.
Yeah,
That's
and
not
then I
everyone,
don't
and
feel
that's
the need
fine.
to
Not
talk
every
about it all
friend
the
wants
time.
to talk about that or
Yeah.
like wants to be in that, and that's totally okay. Like you have friends that you would do a puzzle with, or you would go do this thing with, talk about something else, you know?
Okay,
Like a
so
different desire.
let's talk about next topic, which is how to make deeper connections.
Okay.
How do you actually get these close friendships? I think a lot of
where do
people,
you
I've
find
seen a lot of
them?
people talk about that too. Like, how do you do that? Like, I've seen a lot of people say, I don't have even one friend that I'm close with. Basically, it's like, it's kind of like, I don't know how to be close to a person, or maybe you only have your significant other, but you don't have any friends. I've seen that as well.
Wait, can I start
like
this?
it's two different questions.
Yes.
I
I'll go
feel
after
like
you.
I have just a couple of things I think of because I feel like I'm pretty good at that. Like, that's always a question. People are like, how do you go from like here to there? Like, how do you get from like just meeting small talk people to like an actual friend? And for me, I feel like there's a couple of things that I do to kind of like break through the barrier, which is like number one, notice things about people. Like,
yes.
don't just be blind to people. Like, if someone's like, oh, this bad thing happened, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. Like being like, oh, well, it's okay if that was hard, or like, oh, that sounds hard though. Like, just kind of showing like, hey, I'm noticing what you're saying. Like, I'm noticing
yeah.
you're a person that has
For
feelings.
sure.
Like, not just letting them just kind of like throw things away when you're like, oh wait, but that was probably like kind of sad, or like remembering things about people, bringing that up of like, oh yeah, I remembered that thing you said. Like, hey, I care about what you're saying. I'm listening to what you're saying. I'm like I notice things. Like, oh yeah, you're really like this. Like pointing things out. Like, I think most people don't really feel like seen by anyone, and you don't have to do anything crazy, but just letting them know, like, oh, I see you.
It's
Like,
like
I
opening the
see you
door.
as a
Yeah.
person. They're like, oh, wow, like, this person actually, like, seems to care about me. Is
That's
like,
a good
taking
point.
an interest in me. I feel like it's an easy thing to do if you just think about it. And then I think the other thing is also, like, asking them questions that, like, I know for me, sometimes I feel weird asking people questions, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to pry into their lives. But if you're trying to be friends, like, it's not prying. And don't ask them some like creepy question of like, what's your
don't do
deepest
that.
shame? But just like, oh, so
Always
like,
about the deepest
what was
shame.
it like growing up? Like, what was that like? Or like,
What do you like to
what were
do?
you like in high school?
Yeah, where'd
or
you
like,
grow up?
like that.
What's
like,
your hometown
how's your
like?
family? Like, I don't know, just like things that are a little deeper like that, not like really
We'll
deep
talk
at
about in a
first.
sec the like appropriateness of
Yes,
like when to open up.
connection
We'll get to that in a
levels.
sec. But I will
And then
continue
wait,
what you're
one
gonna say.
last thing.
Me too, I'm
Then
ready.
is sharing things about yourself too,
Yes.
because I feel like that lets people know, like, hey, I'm a type of person that's okay with like talking about things that are like real. And again, not saying some creepy thing, but just like, oh yeah, like instead of just being like, oh, I'm great, like you could just say like, I'm okay, I don't know, like I'm a little down lately. Like, you don't have to go into it if you like have this deep depression, you don't want to talk about it, but like just being a little bit real about things to let them know, like, oh, it's okay if you say like you're a little down too. Like, we can talk about what's actually going on.
Like you're showing the person like around me, you can open up to me.
Yes.
And also I'm a person that likes to open up. And then if there a person doesn't want that, it'll be really
Yeah,
clear. And
and
if
you'll
they're a person who
understand that.
does, it'll be clear.
And not being critical when people say things, like even as a joke. Like, I feel like it's so normalized in society to just be like,
No, it is.
oh, ha ha, joke, but
Don't
it's
do it.
rude. Like,
Wait, what?
People make
People
like
just
critical
make
jokes all the
jokes
time.
that is like so normalized by society, and it's not like, it doesn't make
what?
people feel good. Like, I don't know.
Like,
it's just
fake
like
critical
like
comments.
I think
don't
that
know,
is
what's the
really
example?
normal.
So
So
you're
I
saying
get what we're-
don't criticize other people?
yes,
Yes.
don't do
Even
that.
as
Like,
jokes.
Well, a lot of people's friend groups, it's very normal to like cut each other down a lot and like,
Yeah.
oh, you're so dumb, haha. Like,
yeah, like
You're saying
just don't
stop
say
that
things
if
like
you
that.
want these good
doesn't
relationships.
Yeah,
make-
because
it's not- it made
the
a place for
point is,
intimacy to grow.
if you let people know, like, hey, I'm not gonna like make these rude jokes when you say something, then they'll be like, oh, like, I think that all these things I'm saying, the point is you're trying to show someone, like,
Your
hey,
safe
I'm
place.
someone you could talk to if you wanted to. You're not trying to force them to do anything, but just letting them know, hey, we could talk about stuff if you ever wanted
Yeah.
to. That's what you're doing
Yeah.
with these things. That's
Yeah.
what
So
I
interesting.
think.
And I feel like I really had to learn how to do that because I am a very, very much kind of strange mix of like I will talk to anyone and ask them a bunch of questions.
Yes,
but
she
I
will.
do not want them to talk about me. I don't want to answer a question about me. I don't want to talk about me.
You
and
still don't?
Lauren, no,
your
I do
friends?
now.
Oh.
Lauren pointed that out to me. I think was that you?
Probably.
Yeah, it was probably Lauren. Lauren's like, you're so fake. She's like, not fake, but like she's like, you're so sketchy, lady. You are like,
yes, because
oh, Vala, you
lie
don't
to people about your life.
What?
Because she doesn't want to talk about stuff.
I don't anymore.
Wait, can you give an example? What do
No,
you
I'm
mean?
just like, oh yeah, I'm a musician. Just leave it at that. Nothing else.
No, you
questions.
literally like someone asks like, "Oh, what do you do?" She literally doesn't answer the question,
Yeah.
avoids it. Like just like really act sketchy. Like that's really
Yes.
sketchy. If you're like,
It
"Oh,
is.
trying to get to know someone," like, "Ah,
Yes.
why
So
would
then I had to learn how to open up, and I think it starts with just sharing what you think. Just sharing that.
Just,
and
like, opinions.
I also had a lot of pressure in friendships to be like, oh, I don't want to make this person upset. I had all these pressures of like my actions for some reason controlled other people, but they don't. So then I had to take that off of me too. And then through the years, I've become really good now at like getting to know people in a real way and like being there for people and actually being myself with my real personality.
Yeah.
Not answering questions. I'm far less sketchy, guys. Don't worry about it. We're good. And it's very, very different experience because now I feel like I walk like I went to a party last night and I know all the people that I used to know, but I know them actually now. Like really know them and they really know me and they care about me now because they actually know who I am. And I've had to put in a lot of work, y'all, which I'll talk about because I think it's very informative. But I had to put in a lot of work to have these real friendships and to know a lot of fringe people.
Should we talk about what I just said that I think people are probably wondering? Like, what is the appropriate amount of stuff to share at what point, and how do you know? I feel like people say that
Lisa's
a
really
lot.
good at
Okay,
that.
thank you. Well, everyone has their own levels of comfort, but I
Yeah.
just like to take it really slow. I feel like a quick spark can fizzle out quickly,
Yes.
and a slow building
red
flame
flag,
burns
TBH.
for a long time. I feel like, I don't know, tell me if you guys feel like this. Okay, I like to talk about absolute small talk, fun, lighthearted, whatever it is, whatever's happening right now in the moment for a while. Like we just get together, chat.
Start with that.
And I feel like friendship or conversation or getting to know each other or whatever is like a giant net and everything falls into the net.
Ooh.
But you're not just have this tiny net trying to catch intimate moments. You have to catch everything. Let the like sports they played as a kid fall in there. What food do you want for lunch? Where did you grow up? And then like, oh, how is your relationship with your parents? That comes later. Like things, they all fall into the net, but the net is there to catch everything. Not just,
Yes.
so I feel like people are running around like, tell me about yourself. Give me the personal thing now. It's like,
I was gonna
yeah,
say,
that's
I
creepy.
feel like that's like manipulative.
Yes, it
People
is.
wanna, like,
They're not
even
extreme
if
until
just-
it is.
Even if they have good, their
it's
intention,
low
like I
key,
want to be
yes.
close to someone.
It's just unhealthy. So
It's not healthy.
I feel like I notice a point eventually where it feels like, oh, she just said this. I could briefly mention this thing that I went through. Oh yeah, I dealt with that too when I was little, blah, blah, blah. Just a quick thing. Oh, really? Yeah. Not, well, now I'm going to launch into a monologue and expose myself out of
not the
nowhere.
monologue.
It's just like little things.
That's the monologue.
And you can build into it more where maybe you give more detail another time, but
Yeah,
you mention
exactly.
it. Like things
Like open the door.
to me, it seems like things just come up naturally. You don't have to plan.
Yeah.
For me,
I don't think so.
No, some people are
in my
very
experience,
confused.
I've never had a problem with that. Like,
Okay.
but you have to give it the right amount of time. You have to let it happen. It's
true.
like a pregnancy.
you don't know
can't
if you
just give
can
birth
trust-
after 10 weeks. You have to let
Yeah.
it grow. You
You
know?
don't know if you can trust someone with your deepest shame.
And as time goes
That's
on,
major
I feel like some people want to speed it up, but as time goes on, you naturally see, and then something happens in your life or their life, and you're like, oh, wow, they were really there for me during that. Like, you didn't
Yeah.
have to force them to be there for you or something, but it came up, and it's like, oh, that was cool. I just like to observe, let it
Yes.
unfold. I think if people, it's like, a 10,000 piece puzzle and each hangout is one piece.
Exactly.
Okay, a little more of the picture.
That is so true.
This thing I have pulled up, I think is a really good one for people who are like really confused, because some people are genuinely very confused and they're like they haven't, maybe especially like they didn't have actually close friendships with or relationships with like their parents or maybe even their siblings, and they've never had one in their whole life. So they literally have no idea, and they're like, what does this even mean? So if you look up 7 levels of intimacy pyramid, who wants to read it?
I'll read it.
I feel like you've been talking
I like
a fair
reading.
amount.
7 levels of intimacy. What is cliche? That's the first one.
Like probably just like
like
random
small talk?
stuff.
That's
yeah.
the least
This
close.
is a pyramid. I'm going to put it on the
I
screen.
feel like I can illustrate this with the question, how are
With
you?
oh, cool.
So how are you? Cliche. Same old, same old. Can't complain.
So
What's
we're
the next
saying,
one?
wait,
That
actually,
is
I should
the
say,
least amount of
say what she's
connection.
reading.
Yeah.
So she's reading the least
and
amount.
I'm going to put it on the screen so we'll
reading
see
the
it.
least amount to the most amount of, or like the most, like the deepest level of intimacy.
Which, if it's like a person at the post office, you're not going to be like, let me tell
had
you
a
about
horrible
my
day.
dog
Tell you
who's
about my
sick.
divorce.
It's
Yeah.
like, you just say, like someone says, oh, how are you? You just say, oh, good.
fine.
Because that's what
Yeah,
you do.
pretty good,
It's
yeah.
just normal.
Okay, the next one is facts. So you met them and you're in a
like,
cliche,
"It's
and
hot
then you're
out
telling
today."
them facts about life
Yeah.
and things that you don't necessarily
Facts.
have an emotional attachment
Trying to think of what a fact would be.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, and then
I just washed my car.
Wait, keep
Yeah,
going. I
my
just
name
made a
is
great
Lauren.
distinction. Keep
after
going.
facts is opinions, like your personal opinions, which can be hard to
How
share.
are
yeah, that
you?
is later on.
I'm really annoyed that my favorite sports team lost.
So then it's like, okay, you
that's
tell
not
I
an
don't
opinion.
care.
That's a feeling, I think.
That's a
yeah.
feeling.
The next one.
Is it?
I think it'd be
Listen,
like,
opinion.
well, it's sunny day and I love
The sun.
so
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
having a good day.
or like, oh, I really liked that movie.
Well, wait, hold on. I feel like the opinions thing is more like after you get to know someone. For me, it'll take me a while. I'll be like, okay, I can see where they're at, or whatever. I feel comfortable now sharing my opinions on like social issues. I did not feel comfortable sharing that a few months
See,
ago.
I actually will wait a lot longer on that. 'cause
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well,
I feel like I would do that
actually
maybe
comes up.
further down.
Well,
that's why it's in the
opinions
middle.
So
on
heated.
anything.
It doesn't mean controversial opinion.
Right,
It
but
just
I'm
means
just
in
saying.
general.
oh, it could be like, I didn't like the new Avengers movie.
yes, exactly.
I loved it.
Yeah,
Like,
you loved
either
it.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You learn, they think of these levels of like, you give someone this and you figure out if you can trust them. And if you can, then you move to the next one.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to trust them with your opinion on
If
the
they're like,
Avengers
yeah, and
movie.
they're like, you didn't like it? Wow, everyone liked it.
Yeah, then you're like,
dumb.
not safe. Then
It's
your
like,
next thing is
weird
your
person.
hopes and your dreams.
Oh.
So once you can trust them with your opinions, then you can try out some hopes and dreams. Then if you can trust them with your hopes and dreams, you can trust them, hopefully you try out your feelings.
Okay, this is what I was going to say. I feel a huge change where I'll talk about my feelings or things I've been through, like not necessarily way late in the game. Like I'll start there as far as opening up, but when I really trust someone and I really feel close with them, I'll speak from my feelings.
Yes.
Like I'm
Such as?
sad right now in the moment, or like I'm going
feel
through
that.
a really tough thing right now. You're letting them into something that isn't resolved, that you don't really know how it's going to go or what you think of it yet, versus you're you could start out telling someone, oh yeah, I went through this tough thing in my childhood, here's a brief summary, I already processed it, I already know about it.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me about it or help me through it, but you could know about it, versus
and I'm not in a fragile spot right now.
yes, versus
'cause I
I'm
already
in a
went through
fragile
them.
place and I need some help. That is really close. That's
okay.
like I
That's
feel
a good point.
close to you.
I feel that. The next one is fears, failures, and weaknesses. So once you can trust with your feelings, then you can trust them with your fears. Because you're like,
me,
hey,
that's
this
all
is
the
a
same
safe
bucket.
person that's going to be there for me with my
your
failures
weaknesses,
and my
wow.
weaknesses and my
Vulnerabilities.
vulnerabilities.
That's an
Okay,
interesting
okay.
thought. Like, I feel like you think about, oh, yeah, you told someone your insecurity. That's really close. Oh, you told someone, this thing. But a fear, that is a vulnerable
Yeah,
thing
it
to
is.
share because, like, you're like, I'm pregnant. I'm really worried that something bad might happen.
I was just gonna say,
and the way that someone responds, oh my gosh, it's so vulnerable. If they're
That's
like,
why you have to
why are you
get
worried
all
about
the
that?
way through all
it's
those
not a big deal.
things.
Blah, blah. Like if they could just shut you down and that feels really bad, or they could be like, oh, well, maybe you should be worried about that. Like, and they'll like start like catastrophizing,
Not
or
very
they could be
comforting.
like, just sit there with you and like be
Yeah.
with you and not try to fix you or judge it or say anything, but just like, I'm here with you. What does that
Yes.
what does that mean to you? Tell me more, like that is, to me, if sharing a fear is a very vulnerable, or like afraid my husband doesn't love me. It's like something that can be really vulnerable.
Yeah, you don't tell strangers.
You don't.
No, that's
And then
vulnerable.
our
You know what
last
though? I'll tell someone that I met on an airplane that I'll never see again.
Yeah, airplanes don't count. Airplanes don't count.
Some
All the
very
rules
deep
are off.
things.
Okay, the last one, deepest level is your needs.
Oh.
So you can trust people with all those things, then you can trust them with your needs.
Well, that's
Now-
why it's last.
Let me give you an example
Can you hand me
of
that?
one thing where, I met this person with my friends who I'm so afraid of, and you know what I'm talking about because I went on a rant about it. Because he's friends with my friends, and the first thing he says is, "So what's your biggest hopes and dreams?" Did you see
He jumped a lot of
4
levels.
levels on the pyramid with one
That
sentence?
can make people feel uncomfortable. Like,
It
hate- I'm
made me
sorry.
feel
I
so
think it's on
uncomfortable. I've never been more afraid of
People
someone
like
in my
that
life.
and me will never.
No, I was so afraid of him. I was so
not my
scared, and I
style.
still am. But
that's weird.
you have to look at it's so important, as Lisa was saying, to go slowly to see what you can trust people with.
And to,
And that's how
to
you
show
build a
people
real
that
foundation.
you're trustworthy.
Yes.
They're not trying to rip you open. It's like,
Yeah,
this is
that's
just,
not. It's what we call inappropriate vulnerability
Yeah.
when someone says, "What are your biggest hopes and dreams?" After they
Someone-
ask you your name.
Before anyone even starts peeling back the layers of the onion, they just need to take a look at the onion.
It's funny
That's
though,
the
guys.
first conversation. Just
I don't think most people have that problem though.
no.
They-
I
No,
think
scared
most
to
people
open
have
it.
the opposite.
Yes.
Most people, you ask them how they are, and they say, "Can't complain."
But that's
Same
a really
old, same old.
good
Yes.
way to know a red flag, though. So if anyone does that,
But probably most
but
people
I would say
watching
like
are,
10 or less % of people actually.
pretty-
you
no,
know?
but it's just a good warning.
know.
It's good to know.
She's saying
but I'm
if
just
you
thinking,
encounter
like,
someone like that, it's a red
big
flag.
I feel
flag.
like that's very aggressive, and I think most people are pretty passive.
But most people are
And-
like, "Wow,
So
I
I think
love that." When
what
that
we're
happens, I
saying-
feel so special.
What we're saying with this is really helpful because if you are like what we're saying is more common, you're like, how do I open up to people? How do I trust people? We're giving you a great framework here. Like, open up about these. Just look
Yeah,
up the pyramid.
different levels.
Open up about these more appropriate ones first, because you probably could think, I don't know how I'm going to open up to someone. I have to tell them all my hopes and fears and dreams right away. Like maybe people might think that, but no, you just open up about something small,
Yeah.
then a little bigger, then a little bigger. As you see, you can trust them,
Yes.
then you can open up a little bit more, and that's how you learn like who you can trust and who you can't.
Also,
Yes.
you had to get over the fear of rejection enough to be able to
Yes.
put in some effort.
True.
Because
I was
gonna say
if
that.
I don't know that you want to be friends with me, like, and you don't really put in any effort, how are we going to be friends?
Let me tell you, that is my biggest number one A1 tip that I have learned, especially recently when I become like A1 at friendship. Like I have ascended, guys, to a high tier. And I am bragging about it because sometimes it's okay to brag when you learn
for
things. And this is what I have learned. The most important thing, if you meet someone and you are like, whoa, we really vibe. And like, you know, you get an appropriate contact from them, whatever it is. And then, guys, put yourselves out there.
Ask to
Make
hang
plans.
out.
Keep consistently asking them to hang out. If you want to be friends with someone, you have to consistently ask them to hang out. It does not matter. Like, if they can't, or, like, notice, okay, if they don't want to hang out ever, like, just can it.
Take a hint.
Can it, ladies?
This is where I'm at. I need to start making time
Yes.
for friends regularly.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
my missing piece.
And like, if you want to join a group, something that I've learned is meet someone that like, and you meet someone you think that they're in on this group. Like, I know a lot of like, there's a very, very big Catholic group here of like 500 people.
Whoa.
And like, I've met a few of the, as I will call them, this sounds kind of bad, but like key players.
Connectors.
So you have to meet the key players wherever you are socially. You can suss them out pretty easily. And then
I don't think it's that
ask
easy.
them, well, they're the people that are always there, or the people that know the people that are throwing everything. There's always a person that throws everything. There is. And I'm
hostess.
telling you, there is. And just don't be afraid to ask them, hey, is anything going on this weekend? Don't pretend to be their friend because you don't know what's going on. That's really weird. But be upfront. Just be like, hey, I'm new here. Or, hey, I'm trying to make more friends. Do you know anything that's going on this weekend? Try asking that to people. Like, and it'll get you a lot of invitations. Because
Okay.
that's what you want is invitations.
You do have to move on. We have to move on to the last one. before we do that one, I think I'll just say a really quick thing on rejection is that that's helped me is that if you're really scared of rejection, which everyone is, the thing that gets me through it, I'm guessing you guys probably have the similar thing, is if someone rejects you as a friend, to realize like not every person that you meet is going to be a perfect friend for you. Just because you want to be a friend with them doesn't mean they would even be that good of a friend to you. Mm-hmm. So it's easy to get hung up on like, oh, I wanted to be friends with them, but you just got to realize like, if they didn't want to be friends with me, we're probably not a good match, because if we were, they would probably want to be friends with me. There are so many types of people. You got to find the types that you really like and you really click with.
It's a big process.
So try not to get down yourself if you go through a lot of people, which I would say in the beginning, those people I met, I was telling you earlier, were not the best friend matches for me. And I'm glad we're not like close friends anymore, because it wasn't. I met way better friends than them. Yeah. So just know it doesn't have to be something personal that you're this horrible person. There are so many people, and it's okay. Don't be too hard on yourself. So we're going to make this kind of fast by just saying, think of your closest friends. The question is, where do you meet friends as an adult? So just say where you met your closest few friends.
Oh, I don't know.
I hired my hairstylist, hired my masseuse. When we first moved here, actually is like truly one of my best friends now. I asked this guy that we're working with, who's like older, do you know any girls my age that I can hang out with? He's like, oh, yeah, hang out with her. And then we hung out, and it took a while. We didn't click for a few years, but then we clicked, and it was like, whoa. She is truly one of my besties.
Oh, I love that.
Deep friend connection. So
love it.
Asking was great. I need to do that more.
Ask around. Ask around.
For mine, 1, I was kind of working with her. 2, I went to this random, like, I think it was like a Catholic event, or maybe it wasn't. It was just like a fundraising event. And this girl just started talking to me a lot, and I wasn't really drawn to her at all, but then we ended up being close friends. Another event, I just ended up talking to her because she was like, hey, this person who's about to move into my apartment? I was like, yeah. So that was kind of random. And then, well, I guess we should probably go through 3 people. Is that probably good? So going to random events helped me. Just talking to some random people. Yeah, just go through 3 people.
I would say this is actually just like a bunch of people put into one thing is through the Catholic community in the area. Yeah. I remember emailing a lady when we moved to town, and I said like, hey, are there any events going on? And then through that, it was just like a ripple effect of like, I met this person who introduced me to this person. And it was just like open up Pandora's box. And there's a few people from that are still like really good friends to this day. And then 2 other examples would be one friend that I met at, we volunteered together as like, what is the word? Adult leaders for a like teen girls like group, kind of like a youth group. We're still really good friends to this day, even though I haven't done it in like a year now. And then the other one I could think of is I have a couple friends that are my neighbors, and like just like it's so cool. We'd see each other out with like pushing our babies in our strollers, and just slowly start talking. And it's like neighbors are great because they literally live right there. It's so awesome. So
okay, what about you?
Okay, all of my friends are friend of a friend people or friend of you guys, where I'm not even close with the original friend. I'm friends with the friend of a friend that I met through like going to places I was invited to in like a group setting.
Yes.
So take the invitations.
Ooh, sounds
Take
fun.
the invitations. Very true.
I had to
Think of couple.
You gotta make them for yourself. Just the same thing that Kat said. The like random Catholic people, and then my other close friends are just through like you and one of our mutual best friend is through Christina.
So basically, through someone else that you know, or go to events, or hire someone.
Yeah, get into your interests. people.
Ask someone.
Yeah,
to
through
set
someone
you
you
up.
knew.
Yes.
You knew someone.
Yeah.
Wait, guys, this is my last tip, guys. Think of the things that you like and that you're
makes
interested in. Do you like to paint? Do you like to dance? Do you like to do an art class or like a dance class or like an adult sports league? Things like that. And then join them in your area.
You might meet someone who you kind of like, and then that person invites you to something, and then you meet someone you really like.
Yeah,
is what we're learning. Okay, let's move on. So that was a lot. I know you guys like the longer episodes anyway. It's not like that long, but it's longer. So let's go to Sister Spotlight, where a different sister each week gets the spotlight put on her. We have Get Real with Christina, Sappy or Sassy Thoughts with Kath, Lisa's Corner, Amy's Current Crisis, or Lauren's Take. And this week, I'll do this to make up for Lisa. The sister is Catherine. Lauren didn't know. right, is it sassy or sappy today?
are we
It's
today?
sappy.
Oh.
Okay, so I picked this out and I didn't know what episode this was going to be for because we had multiple things.
Ooh.
And so it actually ended up fitting perfectly. And I actually am going to share a poem that I wrote.
I love it.
But I know some people say explanation kills art. Well, I don't agree with that. I like explanations.
Art kills.
I love reading poems or seeing paintings or whatever and hearing the story behind them.
Yeah, it
So-
makes you like them even more.
Yeah, for me, it deepens the connection.
I love it.
So I want to talk about where I was when I wrote this poem and where I was in life. And I think I screenshot it because it's on my Tumblr. Let's see. I don't even know what year. Oh, I guess 2013. So this poem, I wrote it like 9 years ago. So I was 21. And I looked back, I was like, I used to just think all the time when I had time to think. But I would just go on these long walks. We lived by the ocean. And I would go on these long walks and like look for sea glass or just like watch the sunset. Like I listened to Taylor Swift's entire album going on a walk one time at the beach. It was such an amazing, it was 5 years of my life that we lived by the ocean. It was like such a reflective period. Also too, in Nashville, same thing, going on walks. But I would always really think and reflect and write poetry for years and years of my life. I still do that now. And like I stopped a workout the other day to write a poem because I thought of something.
Oh, good for you.
So it's still something I still do, just not as much. But this poem, I feel like it's one of my favorites that I've written, and I've written probably thousands of poems at this point.
Wow.
But this one, I was reflecting on loneliness and how it's not always this ugly emotion, and there's actually a beauty to it, a certain type, which I feel like the poem explains. But I wrote this poem when I lived in Southern California, in Malibu, close to the ocean, and I was just reflecting on loneliness as a form of longing more for connection. And that's kind of what my message is for this little spiel of my episode, I guess you could say, is that we are all created for connection. And there is beauty in loneliness as a form of longing for that connection that God, I believe, created us for. So this is called A Beautiful Loneliness.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
A reading by Kat.
A reading by Kath.
I'm excited.
Okay,
I
My
like it.
21-year-old
into
self
it.
reaching out to me.
Okay, let's hear it.
There's a beautiful way of being lonely. Driving home alongside a pink sky. Watching the ocean waves disappear under the Sunday sunset. On an August day that feels like autumn. A life so full, a heart so heavy, with love and grief. A quiet sentence speaking out beneath the loud music blaring and the wind coming in through the windows. Someone to share this all with. The desire that comes and goes for someone to share it all with. Secrets, laughter, a mutual loss of attention to the hours passing. Someone to share it all with. A beautiful loneliness.
Wow. You know what? You should I closed my eyes when you read that and I saw the whole thing.
Catherine Ann, I need you to hire somebody to get your poems voiced over. Just make them on your phone, send them to someone to make a montage, and put a little music under it, and put them on TikTok.
I
It'd be
have
so fun.
dozens of voice
I
notes.
would love it.
With raindrops in the background, my blinker clicking, because I'll do voice note poems when I'm driving all the time.
Kat, I think it would be so artistic. I can just see it now.
I
That was
thought
really
about
great.
that. Thank
I wouldn't
you.
really call that sappy thoughts. That was like deep thoughts.
That was deep thoughts.
thank
I liked
Wow.
Deep thoughts.
Wow.
Thank you guys.
it. I could hear August.
Love a
by
poem.
Taylor
All right.
Swift in the
Well,
background.
thank you for sharing the
Thank you for sharing your art,
Why
Kat.
are you laughing?
because we never had a
was
poem
great.
reading on
I
here.
thought it was
before.
great.
In
I think I
120,
would add some more in. Because I have a lot
120
more where that came from.
120, I think, episodes we never had a poem. A poem.
It was the first time for
I
everyone.
love it.
Poem reading.
I thought about To Be a Human too. I was like, maybe I should. Even though there is a recording.
It
of
is.
Love
Wait.
it. It is painful to be a human. Death.
Is that really the first thing I said?
Stop. All right, guys. You got to join our Patreon to watch all the full episodes. The link's in the description. Just try it for a month. See if you like it. There's so much good content on our Patreon. I'm telling you.
Ooh, yeah.
Just give it a try. See what you think, as well as a great community. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We post
stand.
on there. So check it out. And we'll see you guys in the next episode when we do the Who Knows Me Best competition. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Cimarelli podcast. Follow Cimarelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimarelli on Facebook and Instagram.